With a specific glitch in the human operating system. I think everyone has felt this, but we rarely stop to analyze just how weird it actually is.
Hmm.
So picture this. You have just finished a massive dinner. Maybe it was a steak, maybe a big bowl of pasta. You are physically stuffed. You're pushing the plate away, maybe unbuttoning the top button of your jeans. You are at capacity.
The Thanksgiving sensation, we've all been there.
Right, exactly. But then you pick up your phone, you start scrolling for a minute, and you see this high-res, perfectly lit photo of a glazed donut or a cheeseburger.
Right.
And immediately, and this is the weird part, despite the fact that your stomach is physically distended, your mouth waters. You feel a pull.
That is the strange hunger paradox.
Is that a technical term, or did you just make that up?
It's a descriptive one. It refers to that complete disconnect where your biology is screaming, stop, we have enough fuel, but your brain, for some reason, is screaming, go, I want that resource.
See, usually we just chalk that up to being greedy or, having a dessert stomach. We treat it like it's a lack of willpower.
A moral failing.
Yeah, a moral feeling. But the research we're looking at today suggests that this disconnect isn't a personality flaw, it's a short circuit.
It is a physiological failure of the braking system. And
Yeah.
what makes this, frankly, terrifying is just how quickly that wire can be cut.
And that brings us to the brain fog phenomenon, because that hunger glitch, it usually comes paired with this feeling of just mental cotton wool.
Oh, yeah.
You've been working overtime, eating takeout for a few days, and suddenly you can't focus, you can't remember names, you just feel sluggish.
And we almost always blame the fatigue. We think, oh, I'm tired because I worked hard.
Mhm.
But the data suggests the fatigue is coming from the fuel, not the work.
So we're diving into a study today that claims this damage, this brain fog and this broken hunger signal, it happens much, much faster than I'm comfortable with.
We are looking at a landmark study published in PLOS 1 by Dr. Adequayefio and his team. And fast is really the operative word here.
Right.
Usually, when we talk about diet and cognitive decline, we're talking about a slow burn. Years of bad habits leading to issues in your 60s or 70s.
The whole don't get Alzheimer's lecture, that feels so far away.
Exactly. But this study, it looked at a timeline of 96 hours.
96 hours.
4 days.
4 days. That's a long weekend. That's a business trip.
That's it. And the core thesis is that a specific type of Western-style diet can cause direct causal dysfunction in the brain's memory center and its internal sensing systems in less than a week.
Before we get into the grim details of how we're breaking our brains, I want to zoom out for a second because this seems counterintuitive to me.
Okay.
If the brain is our most important organ, it's the CEO of the body, why is it so easily hacked by, I don't know, a waffle? Evolutionarily speaking, shouldn't we have better defenses against a donut?
That is the million-dollar question. And to understand why this hack works, you have to understand the environment the brain was built for. For, 99.9% of human history, calories were scarce.
Right. Hard to find.
Very hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar was incredibly rare. Fat was hard to catch.
So finding a beehive or a fatty animal was like winning the lottery.
Exactly. It was a massive survival win. So the brain evolved what you could call a foraging algorithm that prioritizes these high-energy foods above almost everything else. When you see sugar, the brain lights up because historically that meant survival.
So there was never a need to evolve a stop button.
There was never an off switch for refined sugar because refined sugar didn't exist. There was no overabundance.
So we were walking around with Stone Age hardware in a modern supermarket environment.
And that mismatch is precisely where the glitch happens. The study we're looking at today, it essentially exposes what happens when that ancient hardware gets absolutely flooded with modern hyper-processed inputs.
So it's not just processing the food.
It's not. It gets overwhelmed by it. The system just isn't designed for that kind of load.
Okay, let's look at how they proved this. Because whenever I see headlines like junk food makes you dumb, I get, really skeptical.
As you should.
Was this just a survey? Did they just ask people what they ate last week? Because I can't remember what I ate for lunch yesterday, let alone account for my nutrient intake accurately.
You're right to be skeptical of those observational studies. They're notoriously messy and full of confounding variables.
Right.
But this was different. This was a randomized controlled trial in RCT. And in the hierarchy of scientific evidence, this is the gold standard.
Okay, break that down for us. What makes the RCT the gold standard in this case?
It's all about control. It's about isolating the variable. In the wild, people who eat junk food might also sleep less or have more stressful jobs or not exercise. You can't tell if the brain fog is from the pizza or from the stress of their job?
Too many variables.
Exactly. In an RCT, you take a group of people and you control those variables. You make everything the same except for the one thing you want to test.
So who did they recruit for this? Because if they tested this on people who were already unhealthy, that feels like it would skew the data, right?
That's a crucial point. They recruited young, healthy adults. These were people with no history of diabetes, no metabolic disorders, no known cognitive impairments. They were lean, functioning, sharp individuals.
So they were starting with a completely clean slate.
Yes, a baseline of optimal health. And then they randomized them into two groups. You have the experiment group and the control group. This randomization is absolutely key. It ensures that any difference we see at the end is solely because of the intervention.
And not because one group just happened to be smarter or healthier to begin with.
Precisely. It evens the playing field.
And the intervention. It was just breakfast.
Just breakfast. And this, I think, is the brilliance of the study's design. They didn't lock them in a lab and control every single calorie for 4 days.
Which would be totally unrealistic.
Totally. They let them live their lives. They ate their normal lunches, their normal dinners, did their normal workouts. The only variable the researchers changed was the first meal of the day.
That seems almost too subtle. I mean, if I eat a salad for lunch and a healthy dinner, can one bad breakfast really tank the whole system for the day?
Well, that's what they wanted to find out. Is the Western diet effect potent enough to override a generally healthy lifestyle for the other 2/3 of the day?
Okay, let's look at the menu. If I'm in the Western diet group, the experiment group, what am I eating? Are we talking about like force feeding them lard?
No, and that's the scary part. The menu was designed to mimic and I'm quoting here, a palatable Western style breakfast.
Palatable, okay.
We're talking toasted pastries, waffles with icing, sugar frosted cereals, processed meats like bacon or sausage, and then sweetened milkshakes or juices to drink.
Honestly, that sounds like a standard Saturday morning. Or, what you get at a hotel buffet on vacation.
It sounds delicious. It's very high in saturated fats and extremely high in refined sugars. But it's not extreme eating by, say, American standards. It's a treat, for sure, but a very common one.
Okay, and the control group, what was their punishment?
They got a nutritionally balanced breakfast. Things like whole wheat bread, oatmeal, muesli, fresh fruit, semi-skimmed milk.
So complex carbs, fiber, slow-release energy, the stuff we're always told to eat.
Exactly. And the key difference isn't just healthy versus unhealthy. It's about the speed of digestion and the stability of the energy release. The Western breakfast is designed to hit the blood fast and hard.
A quick spike.
Right. The control breakfast is designed to sustain, to give a slow, steady burn.
Okay, so the participants do this for 4 days, Monday through Thursday. They come back to the lab. How do you measure brain fog? Because you can't just ask them, hey, do you feel stupid today?
No, self-reporting is garbage for this kind of thing. It's just too subjective. They use 3 very specific hard data metrics. And we really need to unpack each one because they tell a different part of the story.
All right, metric number 1.
Metric number 1 is what I call the hippocampus check. They used a standardized verbal learning test. It's a neuropsychological standard.
How does that test work?
It's a memory torture test, essentially. You are given a list of, say, 15 words. You have to listen, learn them, and then immediately recall them. That's the easy part.
Okay.
The hard part is what's called delayed recall. They distract you with other tasks, they let time pass, maybe 20 minutes, and then they ask you to recall that original list again without hearing it a second time.
Ah, so they're testing if the memory actually stuck, if it moved from your brain's RAM to the hard drive.
Precisely. That process of moving information from short-term to long-term storage consolidation, that is the primary job of the hippocampus. If your hippocampus is struggling, that delayed recall score just drops off a cliff.
Okay, so that's memory, metric number 2. This is the one that gets at that strange hunger feeling.
Yes, interoception.
Interoception. It's a word that sounds like it belongs in a philosophy class. What does it actually mean in a biological context?
Think of it as your body's internal dashboard. You have exteroception, seeing, hearing, touching the world outside. Interoception is sensing the world inside.
I see.
It's the data stream that tells you, my heart is beating fast, or my bladder is full, or, and this is crucial for our deep dive, my stomach is stretched and I have sufficient energy.
So it's the body's fuel gauge?
It's the fuel gauge, the temperature gauge, and the check engine light, all in one system.
So how did they test that?
They did something really clever. First, they had participants rate their own hunger and fullness on a numerical scale. How full do you feel right now? 1 to 10.
Okay, subjective but useful.
Exactly. Then, right after that, they showed them pictures of highly palatable food, the donuts, the burgers, the really appetizing stuff.
Yeah.
And they asked, how much do you want to eat this right now?
So they're looking for the gap, the disconnect. If I say I am a 9 on the fullness scale, I should also say I have a 1 on the desire scale for that burger.
Exactly. High satiety should equal low desire. They were measuring if the dashboard was accurately controlling the driver's behavior. Was the signal getting through?
And metric number 3.
This was the biological reality check. They didn't want to just guess what was happening in the blood. They attached continuous glucose monitors, or CGMs, to the participants.
Oh, those are the little patches people wear on their arms now.
Yes. And this gave him a 24-hour movie of the participants' blood sugar, not just a finger prick snapshot. They could see the massive spike after the Western breakfast, the subsequent crash before lunch, and everything in between.
So we have the memory test for the hippocampus, the desire test for the internal dashboard, and the blood test for the raw data.
The trifecta.
4 days later, what happened? Let's start with the memory. Did the waffles actually make them forget things?
The results were stark. The experiment group, the Western breakfast eaters, showed a significant decline in delayed recall accuracy by day 4.
Okay, when you say significant, are we talking about them forgetting 1 or 2 extra words, or is this a real, meaningful statistical drop?
In scientific terms, the effect size was rated as medium to large. To see a medium to large cognitive decline in healthy young people after just 4 days is, it's alarming. It's a major red flag.
And what about the control group, the oatmeal eaters?
Rock steady, no decline whatsoever. In fact, due to something called the practice effect, doing the same test twice, usually you expect people to get slightly better by day 4.
Right, they know what to expect.
The control group stayed sharp. The Western group got measurably worse, despite having seen the test before.
That is wild. So the breakfast wasn't just, not helping. It was actively inhibiting their ability to learn?
It was blocking the consolidation process. The hippocampus essentially stopped hitting the save button on new information.
Okay, so that's result number 1. What about result number 2? The interoception, the dashboard check.
This is where we see that strange hunger paradox show up in the actual data. It's fascinating. The control group behaved exactly as you'd expect, very logically.
How so?
They ate their balanced breakfast, they reported feeling full, and when they saw the food photos, their craving for them went down. Satiety increased, desire decreased. The system worked perfectly.
The brake pedal worked.
The brake pedal worked. Now, the Western group,
Let me guess.
they ate the heavy, high-fat, high-sugar breakfast. Their stomachs reported feeling physically full, distended, heavy. The physical signals were there. But when they looked at the food photos, their craving scores did not drop. In many cases, they actually increased.
Wait a minute. They're physically fuller than they were when they woke up, but they want the donut more.
Exactly that. The normal, logical correlation between fullness and desire was completely shattered. The brain was actively ignoring the stop signal from the gut.
That is the literal definition of mindless eating.
It's worse than mindless. Mindless implies a lack of attention. This is driven eating. The brakes were cut and the accelerator was pushed, even with a full tank of gas.
Okay, we absolutely need to get into the how, because I still struggle to get my head around how a pastry in my stomach reaches up and breaks my hippocampus. What is the physical mechanism connecting the stomach to the brain?
This is where we have to talk about something called the blood-brain barrier. I like to think of the blood-brain barrier as the head bouncer at the most exclusive club in the world.
Oh, the bouncer. Okay, I like that analogy.
Its only job is to keep the riffraff out. The brain is the VIP section. It doesn't want toxins, it doesn't want bacteria, and it definitely doesn't want massive, wild fluctuations in chemistry.
So that bouncer is very, very strict. You're not on the list, you're not coming in.
Exactly. For most of the brain, that's true. However, the hippocampus is a very special kind of VIP room. It has incredibly high energy demands. It's constantly forming new connections. It's engaging in neurogenesis, which is the birth of new neurons.
So it's a very busy room.
The busiest. And to get that much fuel in, the bouncer at the hippocampus is a little more relaxed. The barrier is naturally leakier there than in other parts of the brain.
So it has a back door to let the fuel deliveries in more easily?
A good way to put it, but that back door is also a vulnerability. Now let's go back to the CGM data, the blood sugar monitors. The Western diet group didn't just have high blood sugar, they had massive volatility.
Right.
Huge spikes after the meal. followed by massive insulin dumps from the pancreas, and then these severe crashes a couple of hours later.
The glucose roller coaster.
And that roller coaster creates a state of systemic inflammation, creates something called oxidative stress. Think of it as a low-grade chemical storm in your entire bloodstream.
Okay, a storm.
When that storm hits the brain, the strict bouncers in the rest of the brain keep most of it out. But the leaky bouncer at the hippocampus, he lets some of that storm in.
So the hippocampus gets flooded with inflammation and oxidative stress.
Precisely. And this is where the new integrator theory of the hippocampus comes in. We used to think the hippocampus was just a memory filing cabinet. But modern neuroscience shows it's much more than that. It's an integrator.
What does that mean, an integrator?
Its job is to bind external context. Where am I? What is that a picture of? With your internal context, am I hungry? How do I feel?
It's the switchboard connecting the outside world to the inside world.
Yes, that's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And when that switchboard gets inflamed by the sugar storm, it shorts out. The connections fizzle. It fails at both of its jobs. It fails to properly consolidate the word list from the memory test. That's your memory loss. And it fails to correctly process the satiety hormone signals coming from your gut. That's your interosection failure.
You mentioned satiety hormones. We should probably name names here. What specific signals are getting ignored by this inflamed switchboard?
Yeah, the big two are ghrelin and leptin. It's a bit of a simplification, but you can think of ghrelin as the go hormone, the feed me hormone. It's produced by the stomach when it's empty.
And leptin.
Leptin is the stop hormone. It's the I'm full signal, and it's produced by your fat cells.
So in a healthy person, you eat your oatmeal, leptin goes up, ghrelin goes down. The hippocampus sees this on the switchboard and sends out the message, okay, stop eating.
Correct. The signal is received and acted upon. But in the Western diet group, that message is getting lost in the static of the inflammation. The gut is shouting, leptin, we are full. But the hippocampus is so stunned and inflamed, it literally cannot hear the message clearly.
So the brain just defaults to its primal setting.
It defaults to its ancient Stone Age programming. See food, want food, eat food. The higher level override system is offline.
It's terrifying because it really feels like you lose your agency in that moment. You're not deciding to eat, you're just failing to stop.
That is a profound distinction. And it leads us to what I think is the most surprising and maybe the most important finding of the entire study, especially for our listeners who might obsess over the number on the scale.
The weightless discovery.
Yes. So at the end of the 4 days, after all the tests, the researchers weighed everyone again. And guess what?
They gained 5 pounds from the waffles and milkshakes.
No, statistically zero. They didn't gain any significant body weight.
Wait, hold on. They ate toasted pastries and sugary milkshakes for breakfast for 4 days straight, and they didn't gain weight.
4 days isn't really enough time to pack on significant adipose tissue, body fat. But, and this is the absolute key, their brains were already broken.
That completely blows my mind because the standard narrative, the one we always hear, is obesity causes cognitive decline. We're told that being overweight is what creates the inflammation that hurts the brain.
That has been the dogma for decades. Get skinny to save your brain. But this study flips that entire script on its head. It proves that the cognitive damage, the inflammation in the hippocampus, it happens before the weight gain.
So it's not a side effect of being fat.
It's not. It is an acute chemical effect of the food itself.
So you can be thin, you can have a six-pack, you can fit in your skinny jeans on Friday. But if you've been eating garbage from Monday to Thursday, your hippocampus is suffering the same dysfunction as someone with full-blown metabolic syndrome.
Exactly. It completely decouples metabolic health from body weight in the short term. You can be, for lack of a better term, skinny fat in the brain.
Skinny fat in the brain. I think I'm going to make a t-shirt that says that. But seriously, this changes the entire conversation. It means we can't use the mirror or the scale as our primary health metric anymore.
The mirror is a lagging indicator. The brain fog is a leading indicator.
Okay, so let's pivot to the so what. We have this information. It's a bit scary, frankly, but we need to use it. Who needs to hear this the most? Let's start with, say, the high performers, the people listening who want to be smarter, faster, better at their jobs.
I think for the high performer, the executive, the coder, the student studying for finals, this is all about competitive advantage. Look, everyone is looking for a nootropic. Everyone wants to find that pill that will make them like the guy in It Limitless. They drink coffee. They take exotic supplements.
A magic bullet for brain power.
Right. But this study says that the most powerful performance enhancer available is actually removal.
Removal of the glucose spike.
Exactly. If you are trying to write complex code or study for the bar exam or prepare for a huge presentation and you start your day with a bagel and a glass of orange juice, you are voluntarily handicapping your hippocampus for the most important hours of your day. You are literally lowering your effective IQ.
It's like entering a race and deliberately shooting yourself in the foot at the starting line.
It is. If you just switch that fuel source to healthy fats, proteins, fiber, if you keep that glucose curve flat, you retain access to your full cognitive capacity. This isn't about being healthy in some vague long term sense. It's about being sharp right now.
That's a really powerful reframe. What about for parents, or really anyone dealing with kids?
This is huge for youth. We all know that telling a teenager, eating this might give you heart disease in 40 years, is completely useless. Their brains literally cannot process that far into the future. It's not a real concept to them.
They think they're invincible.
They do. But they care deeply about right now. They care about their grades on the next test, their performance in a video game, their social standing. If you can tell a teen, this sugary breakfast is the reason you felt foggy during that math test this morning, that clicks.
It connects the behavior to the immediate, tangible consequence.
You didn't fail the test because you're not smart. You failed because you sedated your memory center with a Frappuccino an hour earlier. It shifts the blame from their identity to their fuel choice. It gives them a reason to care that is relevant to their immediate reality.
And what about the medical side of things? If I'm a doctor or a clinician, how does this change my approach to diagnosis or preventative care?
It suggests we are probably screening way too late. Right now, we wait for an A1C blood test to come back, showing prediabetes or diabetes. But this study shows the brain is the canary in the coal mine.
It fails first.
It fails first. We could potentially use these simple memory tests, specifically delayed recall after a meal or a glucose load, as a very early warning system for diabetes risk, maybe years before the blood sugar becomes permanently elevated.
That is fascinating. The memory test becomes a metabolic test.
Precisely. And for the mental health field, for counselors and therapists, this is just a powerful empathy engine.
Explain what you mean by that, an empathy engine.
Well, think about the immense shame and guilt associated with binge eating or overeating. Clients say, I have no willpower, or I'm weak, or I'm a failure.
Right, they internalize it.
This study provides a powerful counter-narrative. It says, no, your biology was hacked. If your hippocampus, your great integrator, is offline due to inflammation, you cannot accurately feel full. It's not a moral failure, it's a mechanical failure. Your equipment was disabled.
That removes the guilt. And I have to imagine that once you remove the guilt, you can actually focus on the fix.
Right, it changes the goal. You don't need to become a better person. You just need to change the input to reset the sensor.
And that really brings us to the final thought, the hopeful part of this. Because if we can break the brain in 4 days, that's terrifying. But biology, it usually works both ways, right?
This is where it gets really interesting. The brain is defined by its plasticity. It is incredibly responsive. The very fact that it degrades so quickly implies that it is highly sensitive to its chemical environment. It's not set in stone.
So if I flip the script,
my hypothesis, and this is supported by a lot of other research on neuroplasticity, is that the repair can be just as rapid. If you give the hippocampus 4 days of stable blood sugar, 4 days of high antioxidants from vegetables, 4 days of low inflammation.
The bouncer can tighten up security again.
The bouncer can tighten up, the storm subsides, and the switchboard can come back online.
The fog lifts.
The fog lifts, the memory starts to consolidate properly again. The hunger and satiety signals start to reconnect. The bottom line is you aren't stuck with the brain you have today. You can literally upgrade it by next Tuesday just by changing what you eat this weekend.
So the challenge for everyone listening is to run their own N of 1 experiment, a 4-day trial.
Test your own machinery. Try the control diet for just 4 days. High fiber, healthy fats, complex carbs, good protein, no sugar spikes. See if the cotton wool disappears. See if you feel sharper.
I love that. It's not a life sentence. It's just a 4-day challenge. Dr. Atokwaefio and his team, they gave us the warning, but in doing so, they also gave us the manual to fix it.
Certainly did. It's a roadmap back to clarity.
Thanks for diving deep with us. Now, I think I'm going to go eat some oatmeal.
Will do.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive. Keep those synapses firing.
How does losing weight improve your blood sugar?
Fat in your body means fat around your organs, including the organs that help control your blood sugar, like your pancreas. When there is fat around the organs, your body doesn't work as well to control the sugars.
How does losing weight improve your blood sugar?
So, if you lose weight, your body works better to control your sugars on its own. Fat in your body means fat around your organs,
Does that mean being overweight causes my diabetes?
including the organs that help control your blood sugar, like your pancreas. When there is fat around the organs, your body doesn't work as well to control the sugars. Like family history. So, if you lose weight, your body works better to control your sugars on its own throughout your life, including as a baby.
Does that mean being overweight causes my diabetes?
You don't have to be overweight to have diabetes. There are lots of pieces that come together to cause diabetes. Like family history. Like scabies. Sitting around a lot and not moving much. Access to healthy food throughout your life, including as a baby. Or if your mum had diabetes, or if you were born early. Also living in overcrowded or poor housing. Having some sicknesses as a kid, like scabies. Sitting around a lot and not moving much. Fat around your organs. Some things affect all these causes, like racism and discrimination, family income and poverty, how many years you're at school, trauma that has happened to you or your family in the past. All these things come together to cause diabetes. It's not just weight.
How does losing weight improve your blood sugar?
Fat in your body means fat around your organs, including the organs that help control your blood sugar, like your pancreas. When there is fat around the organs, your body doesn't work as well to control the sugars. So, if you lose weight, your body works better to control your sugars on its own.
Does that mean being overweight causes my diabetes?
You don't have to be overweight to have diabetes. There are lots of pieces that come together to cause diabetes. Like family history. Access to healthy food throughout your life, including as a baby. Or if your mum had diabetes, or if you were born early. Also living in overcrowded or poor housing. Having some sicknesses as a kid like scabies. Sitting around a lot and not moving much. Fat around your organs. Some things affect all these causes like racism and discrimination, family income and poverty, how many years you're at school, trauma that has happened to you or your family in the past. All these things come together to cause diabetes. It's not just weight.
How does losing weight improve your blood sugar?
Fat in your body means fat around your organs, including the organs that help control your blood sugar, like your pancreas. When there is fat around the organs, your body doesn't work as well to control the sugars. So, if you lose weight, your body works better to control your sugars on its own.
Does that mean being overweight caused my diabetes?
You don't have to be overweight to have diabetes. There are lots of pieces that come together to cause diabetes. Like family history, access to healthy food throughout your life, including as a baby, or if your mum had diabetes, or if you were born early. Also living in overcrowded or poor housing. Having some sicknesses as a kid like scabies. Sitting around a lot and not moving much. Fat around your organs. Some things affect all these causes like racism and discrimination, family income and poverty, how many years you're at school, trauma that has happened to you or your family in the past. All these things come together to cause diabetes. It's not just weight.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Amen.
I am so glad you could join us today because we are looking at something, well, something incredibly specific and fascinating.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's definitely a unique one today.
It really is. Our mission today is to unpack a very specific operational document. We are looking at a bilingual core position statement utilized by an Australian health promotion charity.
Right, which is essentially an internal guide. It's the kind of thing they likely use for, printing training cards or handling FAQs for their staff.
Exactly. It is designed to help their team explain exactly who they are, what they do, and importantly, what they don't do.
Which is often the hardest part for any organization to articulate clearly.
Right. And I want to make a quick formatting note for you listening. Because this document is so precisely worded, it is entirely boundary focused, we are going to conduct this deep dive in a strict question and answer format today.
Yeah, that's really the only way to do it justice without muddying their message.
Exactly. I will pose the core questions outlined in the document, and my expert here will provide the exact unexpanded answers. We are basing this only on the source material to ensure no core idea is missed.
I've got the text right in front of me, so we will stick strictly to the script they use.
Perfect. So let's unpack this. Question 1. If one of their team members only has 30 seconds for an elevator pitch, what is their core position?
The document is very clear. They are science communicators, not medical practitioners.
Just strictly communicators.
Right. Their job is to deliver peer-reviewed research from leading journals directly to the community in accessible language. And they actually name drop specific journals here. They mention The Lancet and Nature.
Those are massive publications.
The biggest. They provide the exact same evidence base that doctors rely on. But the key takeaway in their pitch is that what the listener does with that knowledge is entirely up to them and their healthcare provider.
Okay, so they hand over the data and step back. That brings us to question 2, and here is where it gets really interesting. How do they respond when asked the direct question, quote, "Are you qualified?"
They actually welcome the question. The internal guide says to immediately point to their rigorous governance.
Not a university degree, but governance.
Right. They state that they are a registered health promotion charity approved by the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission, or the ACNC.
Which is the federal regulator.
Yes. And furthermore, this registration grants them eligibility for key tax concessions recognized by the Australian Taxation Office, the ATO.
Do they list the specific concessions?
They do. They specifically list income tax exemption, GST concessions, fringe benefits tax or FBT benefits, and deductible gift recipient or DGR endorsement.
That is a lot of tax terminology to throw at someone asking if you're qualified.
It is, but the text notes that the government does not grant these concessions lately. That rigorous government oversight is exactly what proves their credibility.
I see. It is structural proof. Okay, moving to question 3. The boundary between science and treatment. So what does this all mean for their day-to-day operations? Do they treat people?
Absolutely not. The document dictates they do not diagnose, prescribe, or provide therapy.
Zero clinical interaction.
None. Their role is strictly science communication. They take complex research from publications like The Lancet, Nature, and Diabetologia, which the text notes are texts that senior physicians must study to stay current, and they simply translate it.
Just translating the highest level of science.
Right. And there is a core quote from the source material that defines this perfectly. It says, "We empower, we don't intervene."
We empower, we don't intervene. That is incredibly clear. So question 4 is about navigating the healthcare ecosystem. Why is this specific role necessary? Why not just leave this translation to the doctors and researchers?
The source explains the ecosystem perfectly. It breaks it down. Researchers discover and apply the science, publishing in academic journals.
Okay.
And doctors see patients one at a time.
Which leaves a gap.
Exactly. This organization bridges the gap, ensuring that the knowledge reaches the whole community.
And what happens after it reaches the community?
The document states that once the public understands the research, the organization's task is complete.
They just walk away once understanding is achieved.
That is the finish line for them, yes.
Okay, let's look at question 5. This is about handling specific objections. How are team members trained to handle specific pushback, like being asked for a medical degree or having their authority questioned?
They have very specific key phrases for these situations. If they are asked about a medical degree, they must say, "I'm not a medical practitioner, I'm a science communicator."
Very direct. What if their authority is questioned entirely?
They clarify that they don't invent the science. They share findings from top journals and institutions like Newcastle University.
Pointing back to the academic sources.
Always. And if they are asked to prescribe something or give direct medical advice, they state firmly, "We inform, we don't prescribe."
Refusing to cross the line.
Right. They firmly state that applying the science is a conversation for the individual and their healthcare team.
Okay, that brings us to the final piece of the doctrine, question 6. To wrap this up, what is their one-line identity and what tone must the team use when delivering it?
The one-line identity is this: I am a science communicator, not a science inventor, not a science practitioner. I communicate science.
Wow. Not an inventor, not a practitioner.
Exactly. And the required tone guidelines are incredibly specific to ensure this lands correctly. There are 4 pillars of communication they must follow.
Let's go through them.
First, they must be confident, not defensive, meaning never apologizing or backing down.
Makes sense.
Second, factual, not argumentative. They must state facts without getting into debates.
Don't argue, just give the data.
Right. Third, respectful, not submissive. They must show respect without yielding ground.
That's a delicate balance.
It is. And finally, the fourth pillar is clear boundaries. They must always maintain a strict line between what they do and what they don't do.
That operational framework is just brilliantly tight. To summarize what we have just walked through, we are looking at an organization that has meticulously defined its space.
Very meticulously.
They operate with high-level government recognition from the ACNC and ATO to validate their existence. They take elite scientific research from journals like Nature and Diabetologia, and they translate it for the public.
While maintaining an absolute ironclad boundary against practicing medicine.
Exactly. And I think for you listening, this brings up a really crucial point.
It really connects back to how we all navigate health information, highlighting how vital clear communication and strict professional boundaries are when you are faced with an overwhelming amount of health data online.
Because there's so much noise out there.
There is. Knowing exactly who is giving you information and understanding exactly what their role is makes you a more impactful.
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting. Yeah, thank you so much for playing. Now time for us to go back to what we learned yesterday and welcome you back. Let's check it out. All Jing and Alpha are coming. So yesterday, okay, I will share the screen first. Yesterday we've learned, okay, this one. Yeah, the 30 seconds elevator pitch. Elevator, right? Elevator once again. Let's check it out into the dictionary. Elevator or elevator. Elevator.
Elevator.
All right, and once again, I would like you to read it through, Elva, and then we can go ahead with another PDF slide. Yes, please, Elva.
Okay, thank you. Our identity. The 30-second elevator pitch. 1. Science communicators. We're science communicators, not medical practitioners, are urged to share peer-reviewed research in accessible language. 2. Peer-reviewed delivery. We deliver peer-reviewed research directly to the community in accessible language, bridging journals and daily life. 3. Your choice. What you do with that knowledge is your decision, in consultation with your case care provider. We empower, we don't intervene.
Yeah, beautiful. So fluently. Thank you so much. Okay, your time, Jing.
Okay. Our identity. The 30-second after
Elevator.
elevator.
Let's check it again. And
Elevator.
to enhance it, yeah, elevator, I think, yeah.
Elevator.
Sorry,
Elevator.
elevator, yeah, elevator.
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 Yeah, the stress is on the first syllable, and it should be elevator. Yes, you did it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. The 30-second elevator pitch. 1. Science communications. We are science communications, not medical practitioners. Our role is to share peer-reviewed research in accessible language. 2. Peer-reviewed delivery. We deliver peer-reviewed research directly to the community in accessible language, bringing journals and daily life. 3. Your choice. What you do with that knowledge is your decision. In consultation with your healthcare provider,
last sentence. Can you say that?
Sorry, can't say that.
We
Okay,
yeah.
we
Okay.
empower. We don't inter intervene 嘛
Intervene.
intervene
Mm.
intervene.
Yeah, intervene. And vene, yes, stress is on the vene. Yeah, let's check it again. What does it mean, intervene? It means, you can see that. Intervene.
Intervene. Intervene.
It means get involved in. Get involved in. It means become involved in. It means you are a patient and you have your own doctor, which just deliver some information to you, and also the source is from the doctor as well. The same source resources shared with the doctor. That we are not asking you, and we are not going to ask you uh to to take this medicine, to take that therapy, or to have that treatment. So we don't intervene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, intervene.
就是说我们只是去传授这个信息呀，empower。Let's check it again. What does empower mean here? Empower 是授权给某某的权利，也就是给某某自主给某某自主权。也就是说，我们是给这些普罗大众，就是我们的社区大众的自主权，我们不参与。是他们什么样的自主权呢？就是重要的选择的自主权，他们是选择嗯。好，他们是选择继续按照自己的喜好去吃食物，吃这个错误的食物、错误的吃法，还是呢，就是选择健康的方法？他们是选择他们的医生去帮他治疗，还是选择自己主动的去改变习惯？他们选择是需要一个共振社区去帮他们改变习惯，还是自己去单枪匹马的去奋斗？这些都是他们的选择。就 we don't intervene，我们是不介入他的选择，也不介入他的诊断，也不介入他的改变。就是你能不能改变你的习惯，都是你自己的事。我把这些直接上的问题都带给你就好了。So that's it. We empower，就是说我们。这里面有一个是很好的例子去理解它。这场运动使女性更能主动掌握自己的命运，对自己充满了信心。The movement empowered women。那我们这里的 empower 就是 we empower the public，就是我们就是把自主权交给 empower，就是我们把自主权交给大众，就这个意思。We don't intervene，我们不干涉，我们不参与，我们就是像上知识一样的，就是永远给我们一个，之间上正确之间是什么，错误之间是什么，其他的他也不会去干涉的，就是不干涉。So that's it. I think you can get it right, Jing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's very beautiful. Elevator pitch，也就是说，假如在一个商区共一个电梯，去在电梯里碰面了，如何的去定位我们自己呢？这就在30秒钟内把话说清楚，我们是做什么的。Okay, so our identity, the 30-second elevator pitch. The second one is science communicators. We're science communicators, not medical practitioners. Our role is to share peer-reviewed research in accessible language. And the second one is peer-reviewed delivery. We deliver peer-reviewed research directly to the community in accessible language, bridging journals and daily life. And the third one is your choice, your vital choice. What you do with that knowledge is your decision. In consultation with your healthcare provider. Yeah, your choice to consult with your healthcare provider as well, or you can choose to change the habits, the dietary habit by yourself as well。就是说，你可以去咨询你的这个专业的这个健康护理的这些供应者、提供者，比如说医生、护士，或是你的理疗师，或者你的营养师，类似于这些，都是你自己的权利啊。然后呢？我们只把这个这些正确的之间，比如说糖尿病就是二型糖尿病是怎么引起来的，很大程度就是一个吃的问题，然后吃的习惯问题，为什么会有这些习惯？或许你会问到这些，那如果要真实的问到这些，就是要涉及到习惯是怎么样形成的，就是讯息而来。如果如何改变的话，那就是神经的重塑，就是自己要重新全新的去建立一个习惯。好，那如果你不问这些问题呢，那就让你知道这个糖尿病的可怕性。因为它的潜伏期很长，在潜伏期的时候，只是有一些好像人人都知道的一些症状，比如说，嗯，脑雾啊，或者记忆力下降啊，还有就是思辨能力，就是这种思维和那种分辨能力、判断能力、认知能力都下降啊。还有就是我们的就是情绪波动很大呀，就是很容易冲动，很容易发怒啊。这看起来好像是人之常情，谁知道它是一个糖尿病潜伏期的，就是前期的一些症状，而由这些引起的这些现象，足够可以破坏我们所有的破坏我们的学业、事业、家庭生活，乃至我们的。就是一切都会，就是所有事都难以得成功，所以这些事情告诉他们，就是说糖尿病，它的潜伏期以及真实的进入二型糖尿期的这种糖尿病的这个症状的话，就是已经诊断为二型糖尿病，它就开始有一些器官衰竭呀，还有注射胰岛素啊，得看情况严重的程度，乃至于肝脏、胰脏的。衰败，渐渐的衰败，乃至于心血管病，还有一个就是需要截肢，还有一个双目失明，就是这种失明症啊。所以说这一系列的问题都非常严重，乃至最后就是器官的衰竭，还有生病也是连起来的，器官衰竭，还有截肢，还有失明，足够可以严重的就是死亡。So that's it. Just because our dietary habitual action，只是因为我们饮食的一些偏好问题而导致的。再说，再说明白一点，就是因为我们吃我们想吃的，不吃我们不想吃的，然后呢，就是过度的引用了。过度的偏食，过度的饮用了这种高碳水、高糖的饮食。当然，很多时候就只是从饮食去说怎么样的去平衡，这只是，嗯，这只是一个说法。最重要的是吃多了，因为我们有的时候会避免高糖的饮食啊或高碳水的饮食，去不吃它，直接的吃那些油脂的，就是 脂肪类的、蛋白质类的，它们会引起其他的问题。脂肪类的就是它也是高油的，它其实对我们跟高糖也没有两样的区别。如果过度摄取的话，然后蛋白质这个问题，它也会引起一些比如说蛋白质，它基本上都是高分子，对吧？它会引起我们的肾病，我们的肾是往就是那个肾的，嗯、肾的这种，哎，我忘了那个词叫什么，就是那个肾丝网吗？是什么？它是很容易被，就是高分子是对他来说是非常的伤害性，它一般的，嗯、像蛋白尿，就是因为肾丝网球吧，还是什么？我待会查一下，会被破坏，就是因为高蛋白的摄入量，蛋白引起蛋白尿，以及引起其他的疾病。所以说整体来说，它并不是说啊是糖全部害了我们，怎么的，不能归结于这个，是归结于过度饮食。任何一种食品过度饮食都会引起。当然，现在科学主要就是因为就是说的是糖尿病。OK，这就是整个的流程，用中文说了。那今天还是没有学到，那明天我们肾丝球，Yes，you are right，肾丝球，肾小球，对，Yes，肾小球，它在过滤尿液高分子的时候，尤其是蛋白质的这种过滤，对它来说是非常的，就是非常破坏性非常强。你想象一下，就是一个网子很小，然后它的那个分子又很大，就是一个很大的物质，它对这个网中要挤出去的时候，挤不出去就是一种伤害。具体的是怎样的一种破坏，我们可以去查真实的这个科普知识。So yeah, that's it. 还有一个就是有的时候会吃那些蛋白啊，或者是还引起胆固醇过量，也会引起很多很多的问题。就是各种的，综合来说就是不能偏食，而且不能贪是根本，就是所有疾病都是从贪来的。So that's it. Okay. So tomorrow we will go ahead this one. Sorry about that. The Lancet, Nature and Diabetes Diabetology，这个是一个欧洲的非常有权威的一个糖尿病的科学杂志或是医学杂志。我们到时候一个个的去查一查，然后会对它更了解，就是这些都是比较有权威的，嗯、关于糖尿病这一块的依据吧，就是研究依据 research，you know，research 就是这种研究的依据。So that's it. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. And if you have some knowledge or something to share, maybe tomorrow, or maybe the day after tomorrow, you have the chance to share your opinion about that. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for your coming, for your active participation, and catch you up tomorrow night. May you health in body and mind forever, just because you establish yourself on the true nature. So that's it. 祈愿我们呢能够身心永恒健康，只需要我们能够时刻的按住我们真实不变的自信之心，能够远离一切颠倒病苦。Thank you.